Pope Clement XI, born Giovanni Francesco Albani, was pope from the 23rd of November 1700 to his death in 1721. Clement XI was a patron of the arts and of science. He was also a great benefactor of the Vatican Library. His interest in archaeology is credited with saving much of Rome's antiquity. In fact, he authorized excavations of the Roman catacombs. He was of Italian and distant Albanian origin. Biography. Early life. Giovanni Francesco Albani was born in 1649 in Urbino to a distinguished family. His mother Elena Mosca was an Italian, descended from the noble Mosca family of Pesaro, while his father Carlo Albani was a patrician descended from the noble Albani family that had established itself in Urbino from northern Albania. In the 15th century, Albani was educated at the Collegio Romano in Rome from 1660 onwards. He became a very proficient Latinist and gained a doctorate in both canon and civil law. He was one of those who frequented the Academy of Queen Christina of Sweden. He would serve as a papal prelate under Pope Alexander VII and was appointed by Pope Innocent XI as the referendary of the Apostolic Signatura. Throughout this time, he also served as the governor of Rieti, Sabina and Orvieto. Cardinalate. Pope Alexander VIII elevated him to the cardinalate in 1690 despite his protests and made him the cardinal deacon of Santa Maria in Aquiro, but he later opted for the diaconia of San Adriano al Forno and later, as the cardinal priest, for the titulus of San Silvestro in Capoti. He was then ordained to the priesthood in September 1700 and celebrated his first Mass in Rome on the 6th of October 1700. Pontificate. Election to the papacy. After the death of Pope Innocent XII in 1700, a conclave was convoked to elect a successor. Albani was regarded as a fine diplomat known for his skills as a peacemaker and so was unanimously elected pope on the 23rd of November 1700. He agreed to the election after 3 days of consultation. Unusually, for the viewpoint of current practice, his election came within 3 months after his ordination as priest and within 2 months after he celebrated his first Mass, though he had been a cardinal for 10 years previously. Having accepted election after some hesitation, he was ordained a bishop on the 30th of November 1700 and assumed the pontifical name of Clement XI. Cardinal Protodeacon Benedetto Pamphili crowned him on the 8th of December 1700 and he took possession of the Basilica of St. John Lateran on the 10th of April, 1701. Actions. Soon after his accession to the pontificate, the War of Spanish Succession broke out. Despite initially holding an ambiguous neutrality in world affairs, Clement XI was later forced to name Charles, Archduke of Austria, as the King of Spain, since the imperial army had conquered much of northern Italy and was threatening Rome itself in January 1709. By the Treaty of Utrecht that put an end to the war, the Papal States lost the suzerainty over the Farnese Duchy of Parma and Piacenza in favor of Austria, and lost Comacchio as well, a blow to the prestige of the Papal States. In 1713 Clement issued the bull Unigenitus in response to the spread of the Jansenist heresy. There followed great upheaval in France, where apart from theological issues, a strong Gallican tendency persisted. The bull, which was produced with the contribution of Gregorio Saleri, elector at the College of St. Thomas, the future Pontifical University of St. Thomas Aquinas, Angelicum, condemned Jansenism by extracting and anathematizing as heretical 101 propositions from the works of Quesnel, declaring them to be identical in substance with propositions already condemned in the writings of Jansenius. The resistance of many French ecclesiastics and the refusal of the French parliaments to register the bull led to controversies extending through the greater part of the 18th century. Because the local governments did not officially receive the bull, it was not technically in force in those areas, an example of the interference of states in religious affairs common before the 20th century. During his reign as a pope, the famous Illyricum Sacrum was commissioned, and today it is one of the main sources of the field of Albanology, with over 5,000 pages divided in several volumes written by Daniele Farletti and Dom Coletti. Clement XI made a concerted effort to acquire Christian manuscripts in Syriac from Egypt and other places in the Middle East, greatly expanding the Bibliotheca Apostolica Vaticana's collection of Syriac works. Clement XI also was key in the decision to allow cats back into Christian homes after they were seen as overtly pagan symbols. Other activities. Clement XI extended the feast of Our Lady of the Rosary to the Universal Church in 1716 and also elevated 70 men to the cardinalate in 15 papal consistories. Clement XI confirmed the cultures of Celso Droaz, Jack of Varinge, John of Perugia, Peregrine Laziosi, Peter of Sassoferrato, Buonfilio Minaldi, Pope Gregory X and Humberline of Jully. He formally beatified a number of individuals: Alexis Falconieri, Bartholomew degli Amidii and Benedict dell'Entella, and John Francis Acute. He canonized Andrew Avellino, Catherine of Bologna, Felix of Cantalis and Pope Pius V on the 22nd of May 1712, Humility on the 27th of January 1720, Sancho of Portugal on the 10th of May 1705, Teresa of Portugal on the 20th of May 1705, Stephen of Aubazine in 1701 and Boniface of Lausanne in 1702. Chinese rites controversies. Another important decision of Clement XI was in regard to the Chinese rites controversy. The Jesuit missionaries were forbidden to take part in honors paid to Confucius, the ancestors of the emperors of China, which Clement XI identified as idolatrous and barbaric, and to accommodate Christian language to pagan ideas under plea of conciliating the heathen. Death and burial. Clement XI died in Rome on the 19th of March 1721 and was buried in the pavement of St. Peter's Basilica rather than in an ornate tomb like those of his predecessors. Construction activity and patronage. Pope Clement XI shunned nepotism, and though his nephew Annibal was appointed a cardinal, it was only through personal merit. As a builder, Clement XI had a famous sundial added in the church of Santa Maria degli Angeli dei Martiri and had an obelisk erected in the Piazza della Rotonda in front of the Pantheon, and a port built on the Tiber River, the beautiful Porto di Ripetta, demolished at the end of the 19th century. He established a committee overseen by his favorite artists Carlo Maratta and Carlo Fontana, to commission statuary of the Apostles to complete the decoration of San Giovanni in Laterano. He also founded a painting and sculpting academy in the Campidoglio. He also enriched the Vatican Library with numerous Oriental codices and patronaged the first archaeological excavations in the Roman catacombs. In his native Urbino he restored numerous edifices and founded a public library.